Hello, I'm Miss Purple, and today I want to talk about foundation and our feet, because that's really what I'm talking about is our feet, and our feet are our foundation in day-to-day life and in most yoga poses as well. So I've had requests for this for a while, and I'm finally getting to it. So do have a blanket or a towel, something with about a 2-inch lift for you to lift your feet off of. If you need a higher lift, then roll the towel up more. You want something that's long enough for your squat, which would be about hip width apart, feet apart. And this is what we're going to do. Now this is really good for people who wear high heels, because high heels shorten our calf muscles. So I can't lengthen my calf down to the floor because I've worn high heels so much. I used to work in high heels, waiting tables, so go figure. So, first I just want you to understand that when you stand in any pose, you need to be really strong in your feet. So let's just stand tall, and I want you to pay attention and focus, as you should in every yoga pose. Align your feet so that they're exactly parallel. And you notice that your big toe comes in a little bit. So that means that you stand slightly, just a tiny, tiny bit, with your heels a little wider. Or it looks that way when your feet are straight. Okay? But you just look down and feel like your feet are parallel, and it'll feel good. You'll know it. So don't pay attention to that detail if it doesn't make sense to you. So you just want to, now that you're standing here, really spread each toe. Take the time to spread each toe apart and ground them into the floor. And feel each 4 corners underneath your feet pressing into the floor. And do this with your mind. You can feel all 4 corners pressing evenly into the floor. And just lift up out of that. As you push down, that pushing down allows you to lift up. I'm on carpet, so it makes it a lot harder because I don't have the resistance of the floor to push off of as much. So I have to be even stronger to lift up, which luckily for me, I'm an experienced yogi, so I can do that. Some people, I advise you to stand on hardwood as much as you can to do this. I even have books that I can stand on top of if I need to get that feeling. But right now, let's just focus on feeling all 4 corners of your feet spread evenly. Okay, and now just feeling that earth underneath your feet, that's your foundation. You're gripping the floor like you would your hand on a basketball, if that makes sense. Okay, be strong in your feet. And now I'm going to do a few exercises that I like to do for my feet to stretch them. One of them is just turning the foot the other way. So just as you're standing here, put the knuckles of your toes on the floor as much as you can. It's hard. And it's going to be awkward at first. But some people can completely fold their foot and pick up a pencil with the inner part of their foot. Yes, that is possible. We are that flexible. Shoes have deformed our feet. Shoes are made for our feet to move to them, not the shoe to the foot. So we deform our feet to shape into shoes. Why? You tell me. All these shoes, I try to get good shoes, and they all have a heel. So I'm always shortening my calf muscle. Why? You can read about it if you do enough research and find out that all shoes like that are bad. Running shoes are newer, and since they've been invented, there have been more knee injuries than ever before. Mark, pay attention to this. I'm not kidding. I wear Vibrams. I wear as flat-footed shoes as possible. I like Converse. Anything without an arch, without arch support. Also, you want to keep your foot strong with your natural arch. That's why I said you want to feel like you're holding a basketball. And just doing this if you're flat-footed will help with the flat-footedness. Just literally just standing here. This is an exercise for flat-footedness. You don't have any muscle. That's why you're flat-footed. You don't have the muscle to lift up in your arch because you've been using arch support your whole life. So, as much as you can, it might cramp because you don't have that ability as much, but you can develop it. It's not something that's unforeseen. You can do it. Just push your foot and look at how I'm lifting. You can see how I'm lifting my arch off the floor. Okay, now let's get into some exercises other than just bending our toes over, which is really good, by the way. My favorite way to do it, my teacher taught me, Anthony Beninati taught me, and I love it. And it's actually, I think it's from, it might be from Ashtanga or Bikram, one of those fast flow classes. But I can do this, so that's another thing you can work up to. It already started to cramp, so little circles. Now I already showed you how to squat on the blanket. So one fun thing to do with this, while you have your feet about hips width apart, coming to where your feet are flat, so your heels are on the blanket flat, and then come up and sit on your heels. And if you've worn a lot of narrow pointing shoes, this will hurt your toe joint a lot. Like it's hurting mine right now. I can only do this for, it's agonizing. It's already being agonizing right now. It's like I just have to work through it. The yoga pose doesn't begin until I want to get out of it. Okay, so now take a breath and come back into squat. And if you've worn high heels and you're doing this with me, you'll feel what I'm talking about. And just come and do that again. And let's do that 3 times. Sitting on your heels for as long as you can. Try to do it for 5 breaths. 3, 4, 5. Okay. And there you go. I don't want to go on too long because it gets boring, but I think that's been good for foot workout part 1. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoy.